Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the original food service equipment repair podcast built by technicians for technicians. Whether you're on the front lines of repair, keeping the kitchen running smoothly, or just passionate about the food service repair industry, this podcast is your go-to source for expert insight, tech tips, and real stories from the field. Everything said on the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles comes straight from the hosts and guests and does not represent the views of their employers, companies, or partners. We're here to share real stories, real experiences, and real opinions. Take it as insight, not as official policy. What is going on, everybody? I'm excited for this one. I've been friends with Rich for almost 20 years, probably, since he came on at Frymaster. I think I was in his first class there. So, I mean, it's been a while, but I'm excited for this one. We're going to talk to Rich about his life in the trades. He's had a pretty cool life in the trades, owning a business, going to work there. We're just going to talk about, what it's done for him over the years. But first, if you're working in commercial kitchens, you already know grease gets everywhere, especially on coils. That's where Viper coil cleaners come in. Viper's non-corrosive, technician-safe formulas are designed to cut through heavy buildup without damaging the equipment you're trying to protect. No harsh acids, no unnecessary risks, just powerful, effective cleaning that keeps systems running the way they should. If you service restaurant equipment, make sure Viper is on your truck. So what is going on, sir? We have very special guest, Rich Griffin, on. If you guys have never had the pleasure of talking to Rich, you're missing out.
Yeah, I got like 2,200 contacts on my phone, and 90% are technicians. So I get around a lot. But the unfortunate part is I'm the last resort at Frymaster. So if I'm showing up or if you're talking to me, it's usually not the greatest position.
Yeah, yeah. I still remember that first time I went down there to report, and that class was 6 days back then, and it was fun. It was a blast just hanging out. And the crew, do they even do that class anymore?
Well, funny you should mention that. I just saw some rumors that we're going to be doing something. We don't know what, because things have changed since back then. You could send a guy for a week and it hurt, but it didn't kill you. Now with the pays and everything that's going on, it's so hard to lose a tech for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been hearing everybody wants more and more than just our one day out in the field. And we have a fairly new trainer, Brad Rowe, who's out there doing the training now. Um, he's a good guy.
Oh yeah, I like Brad.
He's also a very funny guy too, and
Uh-huh.
that's the good part. But every class he does, the guys are like, "Oh, we want more." And you train, you know what it's like. You have to train
Mhm.
to the lowest person in that class. And I don't mean that to be mean, but the you can't bury everybody and talk over their heads. And you got to start at that point and then build up. And that's what our problem is. So we're going to come up with something. We bought another building beside our building, so now we have three buildings in Shreveport.
Nice.
And the building we bought was called Dr. Reddy. They were the largest ibuprofen manufacturer in the country, and it's huge. It's the same size as Line Ave. So it's an eighth of a mile by an eighth of a mile, basically.
Nice.
Uh, and so hopefully we're going to have some room, because we outgrew Line Ave. We basically have a lot of stuff in Campus Drive, which that's where you had the class at.
Mhm.
But that's more towards our sister companies now. Lincoln and Merco
Mhm.
have basically overtaken that. So we're stuffed. We have no room for anything. That's why a lot of people work from home.
Mhm.
I work from home about 25% of the time now, just so I can get some stuff done. But
Yeah, it was a little crazy when I was there for trainer maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, and it was kind of crazy over there at the because there's just a lot of extra stuff over there. Like you said, Mirko's over there, Lincoln's over there. I miss Lincoln being here in Fort Wayne, just north of me. That was always nice when I need Lincoln parts where you just stop it and grab them and go. It'd be kind of convenient, but that's cool. You guys are expanding down there and building on. That's gonna be nice to see. Now I do the train to trainer program. We done a little bit here or there. It's kind of hit or miss, but you're talking about pulling someone out of the field for a week. It's a big investment by these companies. People just they think of the dollar they're paying that guy, but I'm trying to step into some different roles here in my career, and I travel a lot to teach for Safesa and now for USG and some other stuff. And my boss is like, man, he's like, dude, you're killing us. Like, what do you mean? I was like, you're not paying. This is coming out of corporate. It's coming out of USG's budget. He goes, no. He's like, you're gone 2.5, 3 weeks this month. You're gone, 2.5, 3 weeks this month. He's like, that's lost revenue. That's a lot of money not coming in those, 10 to 15 days. I was like, holy smokes, I didn't even think of it that way. It's like
And
we're
then they,
budgeting. Yeah.
yeah, and they have to pay the taxes on your salary still, and they still have to pay your trucks, and they still have to pay
Hmm.
comp. And I mean, that's the stuff that I look at coming in from the business side.
Hmm.
Is I used to look and say, oh, okay, we're going to pay this tech, whatever, $30 an hour, 35. Well, you can't do that. You got to figure out it's double that by the
Hmm.
time you pay for the comp and pay for the insurance and pay for everything. And then you got to add more to a truck and the insurance and everything else. And it's funny because people in Frymaster or Lincoln, whatever, any well-built company will say, these service companies are making a fortune. Well, I can do some quick math on a piece of paper and show them, no, they're not making that much. The margins aren't that much. The average margin is about 18 to 20%, if that. And that's a good running company. Most of the time, it's 10,
Yeah.
and that's QSR margins.
Yeah. And you have that background. A lot of people don't know that you started off in the trades fairly young. You did some sign work, some electrical work and stuff. Then you started getting into this industry. Then you owned a company for years and years and years before you came over to Frymaster. So you have that background of actually being a technician in the field, being a business owner, then making that huge life change, moving across the country from Massachusetts down to Shreveport. I don't know how you get adjusted to that humidity, but that's a change for sure. So it's good to see though.
Well, luckily I have no hair, so I don't have to worry about the hair days.
I've got
But
that.
I don't think anybody can get used to this heat and humidity down here. When it gets 100, 105 and 70, 80% humidity, you just learn to, okay, I'm just soaked through this shirt. I'm on shirt number 3 today. And it gets crazy. But going back to what you were saying, I have I was very fortunate because my dad was an amazing man. He was a tradesman, a real tradesman. He was a sheet metal worker, sign erector, steel worker. Everything he didn't do glass blowing. That was the only thing that in his shop he didn't do. And I started there actually full time when I was 13 years old. And he also was a master electrician, and he had a side business. Guess who ran the side business at 14? So summers when I was out of school, instead of going vacation time, I would be wiring houses by myself and running his crew. And everything. This is what the problem I think in this trade is: nobody really teaches a strong electrical background.
Hmm.
If you don't have that electric background, I don't care if you're in refrigeration, I don't care if you're hot side, cold side, everything revolves around an open closed circuit. And if you don't understand how that works or how to trace it out or even how to remotely figure it out, you're gone. I mean,
Hmm.
I really truly believe that that's what techs are missing now. You can have a great tech, great with the customer. He understands refrigeration really well. He understands the theory really well. But then, okay, now we're going to start getting into time clocks, or we're going to start getting into like the new systems that have boards in them, and we're monitoring all the superheat. We're monitoring everything coming back, and they don't understand. Well, this is a resistance value. What's that?
Yep.
um, and if they had an electric background, it'd be like, oh, I already know what that is. And that's what was so easy for me to get in this trade. I'll tell you a funny story. I had a great job in an alarm company doing really well. And then my best friend said, hey, you got to come to work for me. It's food equipment, refrigeration. I'm like, dude, no, I don't want to do that. I was in my early uh mid 20s, and I had the world in front of me, and he's like, no, really, we're gonna clean up this, we're gonna be able to work together. I've known this kid from 6th grade. Did the jump, started learning the trade. Didn't know a refrigerator from a pan, but my electrical background, I knew everything. 6 months later, they closed the doors.
Oh man.
And I burnt the bridges, couldn't go back. And he goes, well, what do you want to do? You got any money? I'm like, I just jumped ship. I No. He says, "Well, you take a truck and I'll take a truck." So we started Superior Kitchen Service out of Boston. And, you know, 18 years later, when I left, we had three offices and about 50 employees.
Phew.
And we were doing 6.5, $7 million a year. And now you got to remember that doesn't sound like much now, but that was 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's killing it for a small business,
So
that you 20 some years ago. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that's how you got started. I knew, the electrical background, the science stuff, working with your dad. Um, 6 months in, shop closes, and you was like, "Hey, let's just start our business. Let's go." Okay.
yeah, we had enough money scraped together between, well, there was three of us, and we scraped up enough money to buy the two trucks fully stocked, and that's all we had. And we already knew some of the clients, and that's how we started. Matter of fact, we were 3 or 4 months into it, and we just basically we ran out of everything. We didn't have a dime. We went down to one truck because we couldn't even put fuel in the other truck.
Dang.
And then we got our first check. It was the PM contract for the Boston school systems. And you know how big that check was,
Yeah.
for a PM contract that size, and that's what floated us for the next 6 months. And the checks started coming in, and we're like, "Well, we might be able to do this," and we did. But one thing I mentioned my dad. I have to say this. Um, the claim to fame to him is, you've seen a Red Sox game before, right?
Yep.
Okay, in left field there's a big Sitco sign.
Yep.
He built that a year before I was born.
Nice. That's cool.
And when I was 16 years old, I think it was, he brought me up, and we went up inside it, and there was a pulley system on the top, and he showed me how to change neon lamps in that thing. And there's 11 miles of neon in that sign.
Holy smokes, that's wild.
So again, that's my advantage, is I was around electrical and
Mhm.
just being mechanical, and figuring things out. Because in the sign trade, you're everything. You're a
Oh, yeah.
carpenter, a tin knocker, electrician, welder. I can weld anything. I can use MIG, TIG, stick, um, and whatever. I carried a plasma cutter and a MIG and a TIG welder in my truck when I had my company, and I did all that fabrication.
Yeah, I guess when you're out there on the signs, you just gotta do it. You don't have time to wait on someone else or to bring someone else in. You just gotta get it done and get it going, so that's pretty cool.
Yep. So that sign's in the historical landmark. It just received a grant from the Historical and Society of Boston, and so now it's going to be taken care of for the next 50 plus years. And the grant is to renovate it. So they got it all apart right now, and they're going through the whole sign. And then my cousin, who owned a sign shop, uh, had the contract to keep it going for a while, all the way up until about 5 years ago. I don't know who's
Nice.
taking care of it now, because there's not many neon blowers anymore. It's very labor intensive, and there's a drop of mercury in every tube. So you know how the other side loves mercury.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss my mercury contactors.
You cannot kill a mercury contactor, and if you did, it's like, "Oh, so someone didn't tighten the connection up." It wasn't the contactor's fault. It never was the contactor's fault.
Nope, those things would
Uh,
short cycle, do whatever you want. That's what
it
people don't realize. The luxury of those contactors. They were great.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember when I first seen one, I was like, "What in the world is this thing?" Like, "Oh, that's mercury." I was like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, you don't throw that away." I'm like, "Okay."
So did you
Uh,
make the mistake ever mounting it in the wrong position?
no, I didn't do that. I knew that someone told me that right off the bat, like, "Don't ever install it that way." Yeah, because it's always on at that point.
I did. I mounted it the wrong way once, and I
You'll
learned quick.
learn real quick. That's funny. That's funny. So, I mean, that first year, I mean, that sounds like a struggle. It was just you and a couple buddies, and you guys just out there killing it. How did you get the Boston schools in, like, 3 months? How did you manage that?
Well, the friend that conned me into going to jump, it was industrial kitchen service that we went to work for,
Mhm.
and he was working with them for a couple of years. He got his refrigeration license and his contractor's license and all the licenses we needed in Boston. Eventually, I did too. But my partner was the best salesman you ever want to meet.
Mhm.
So as we found out they were closing the doors, they slowly did it. They did it within about a month's time, So in that month time, we went out and solicited all the as many contracts as we could, and they already knew my partner very well, and they kind of knew me. I was 6 months into it, so they were like, "Well, as long as you provide the same service, we'll go for it." So we picked the primo accounts, the school PMs, the hospitals. We had Dana Farber Cancer Institute. We had
So
Harvard Law.
all the clean places.
Yeah, basically, yes. Well, we also had Boston Public Hospital too, and that was probably the worst place I've ever been in. I mean, that was it was worse than jails.
Uh, Most time kitchens and schools are like the best places to work in. You go in, like if there's a mess, they clean it up. Like, oh no, they don't want you to see it. They don't want you to be involved in any messes or anything. And that's that was cool. That's cool. So did you stay working in the field the entire time you were there? Did you come out and work in the office, or how'd your roles change over those 18 years?
Well, that was part of the problem. Is it was just my partner and I, and at the time his girlfriend. And like I said, I've known the two of them since sixth grade.
Hmm.
So she had an MBA, a minor in psychology, and she was a whiz in the office. So she took care of the office stuff. And when I say office, we were in the basement of his mom's house in Revere. Uh, and that was our office for the first almost year before we could make any money to do that. But him and I went out and we worked, worked and worked. Uh, I didn't go home at the time. I was living about an hour and a half away, so a lot of times I would just crash in his mom's basement and take a shower and get going. And um, we started that. And then as things got going and we got an office, our first office was in South Boston, and we had like 4 or 5 techs. um, as we grow and grew, my two partners said, "Hey, we need you more in the office." And I was like, "No, I'm staying out in the field with the guys." And that was probably about 5 years in. And 10 years in, no, we really need you in the office to help us with. No, I don't want to do that because I did all the hiring and firing. And I was basically what I do for Frymaster. The guys couldn't figure it out. They called me. Back then, it was radios and pagers. So they would radio me or page me and say, "I need to go here." And, as we opened more offices, Rhode Island and Connecticut, I would go down there and help those guys. So I didn't want to go back in the office. And then the politics came in Massachusetts. I won't bore everybody because that's something we can't talk about. But uh, it just got crazy. And I watched my kids turn into something I didn't want them. So I started putting the feelers out. And 18 years in, that I put the feelers out, and Dave Neitlinger,
Oh
my
yeah.
boss, and he said, "Oh, why don't you come to work for us?" I'm like, "Dude, you can't afford me." And he sent me an email, and I looked at it and went, "Really?" And he goes, "Yep." And I said,
Uh,
"Well, what else you got?" And he says, "Well, what if we move you too?" Um, okay. So I did that in 2006. And my family I had one kid as a senior, one as a junior, and one in middle school. And they wanted to kill me.
oh, I
Uh,
bet. Clear across
a-
country.
and my wife at the time, who's now my ex-wife, she was like, "Well, change, okay, let's try it." And we moved down, and like I said, the kids wanted to kill me until probably 5 years in, and they got acclimated, and they go, "You know what? Our friends can learn a lot about the people down here and culture." Everybody, perfect example. My daughter, we were 5 years, 6 years in, broke down on the side of the road. And I told her up north, if you break down the side of the road, lock the car up, put your flashes on, don't open that door unless you see a cop. Not one, not two, but 4 people stopped and convinced her they were going to help her. And then a cop showed up too. And the guy said, "Oh, I know what's wrong with your car." And he was a mechanic. And he went down to the auto parts store before I could even get there and put the little relay in and got a car running for her. And I got there and I said, "Oh, dude, thank you so much." And what do I owe you? I only had like $30 on me. I said, "Here, give me your address. I'll send you some." He's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. You just help somebody else out later." And that was amazing.
Yeah, it's a different speed of life down there. People are, you still have your a-holes, of course, but like most people are pretty chill and relaxed, and it's. I've always had fun down there. I can imagine living down there. You can do some different things, but it seemed like a pretty cool area. I mean, no, it's like every other city. You get downtown, it gets a little sketchy down there, but
Well, 50 Cents is doing a lot down there. And he's doing
yeah,
a lot of good stuff too. But it basically, if you're not hurting anybody, um, you can do whatever. I mean, we have drive-through daiquiri places still.
yeah. My wife, because last time I was down, we drove, so my wife came with me, and that's a heck of a drive. I didn't think it was that long, but it was a long drive. But like, I'm like, just wait. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, just wait. And she's like, did that say drive-through daiquiris? I was like, oh yeah. I was like, wait. So we stopped at the liquor store and like you go in and like you just get a big cup and this big giant daiquiri and you just walk right out, or you go through a drive-through and get them. I was like, she's like, this is insane. I was like, I don't know how they get away with it, but it is what it is, and I love it. I don't. It
You
was
missed the
funny.
one thing. There's a piece of tape on the top of the cover cap with the straw attached to it. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the seal. So if you break that seal,
It's on
or
you.
or, or bring another straw. Uh, but the other part that's crazy is, the kids can still ride in the back of a pickup truck, and as long you don't go on the highway,
Eh,
and you can have people in the back of a pickup truck, just like when you were growing up and I
yeah.
was growing up.
Well, that's what I remember from class is because you took the guys out and they all jumped in the back of your pickup truck and you guys took off and went out having fun. And I did not partake because I was a shy, probably 24-year-old back then. Didn't know
Oh,
what I
you're
was
talking about the
doing.
first time you
The
came
first
down.
time, yeah, it was a little crazy. Like he pulls up to the hotel and everybody jumps in the back of his pickup truck and they just take off. And he's like, we'll go have fun. He's like, but you guys better be paying attention in class tomorrow or we won't have fun anymore.
Yep, and they all did, and that's I mean, it's a different way of life.
Mhm.
The best story I think I have on a class here, the Europeans were in. So I had guys that were 19 years old all the way up to 60, and there was 25 or 30 of them.
Jeez.
And we had Mark, we had Bill, we had a whole bunch of other trainers, and they were all taking turns taking them out to the clubs, whatever. And then on the fourth day, I got them. I was like, "Damn, what am I going to do with these guys? They've already gone to some of the best places." And one said, "Well, we hear you got guns." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, can we shoot?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." So after class, I brought him to the range. The range was super cool about it. They had a range master, and they broke them up into five people groups, and they brought them into the range and taught them safety first and let them shoot. The first guy, who happened to be 19 years old, who now is the director of technical services in Europe for us, um, took a 357 Magnum and first round shot it, and because it's inside, the concussion hit him in the chest, and he thought he shot himself. And he hit the ground and dropped the gun, and everybody just
Um,
rolled. And I said, "Guys, you just got to be careful. I'll be back in a minute." So about 45 minutes to an hour, I came back, and the owner of the range is sitting outside on the stoop. I'm like, "Oh, this ain't good. Somebody shot themselves. Something happened." So I walk up to him. I go, "What's up?" He goes, "I'm out of ammo." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I'm out of ammo.
they clean
They've
you
shot
out.
everything." And the next 2 days, they went back to that same range, but they went
Uh,
to Walmart first and loaded up with ammo so they wouldn't run out.
that's
And
funny.
that was like one of the best stories, because the person who thought he shot himself now is a really good friend of mine, Perry, and he's out of England and he runs technical service for Wellbuilt.
Nice. That's a cool story. That's funny.
Yeah, and he's a great guy, a great technician, and he's a great leader over there. And he still remembers that to his day, to this day. I
That's
saw him the
funny.
other day.
If I ever see him, I'll have to say something like, "Hey, are you that guy?"
Yeah, you may see him. He comes to the states a lot. His name is Perry.
I'll have to keep an eye
I
out for
won't.
him.
Yeah, I'll leave his last name out, but
I can
he's
figure
a
it out pretty easy.
Yeah, you can go through our directory and find him.
Yeah,
But he's
that's
a great
funny.
guy.
Yeah, Frymaster was always one of those classes when I first started. Everyone's like, "You gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta do it." Like it's a week long thing. Like you're gonna gain like 20 pounds. They feed you well. They take care of you. There's a snack bar in the back. You just help yourself to whatever you want. And I actually went to that class 2 times. I think I've been down there a total of like 4 or 5 times though, because I did, trainer twice. I think there's a special project thing I came in on when you guys launched the touchscreen stuff, and it's always a blast. It's always fun. You guys always take care of everybody. It's just a first class place, and it's cool to go over to see the fryers being built, the fryers being tested, rolled down the assembly line, and to talk to people there. I've met a lot of cool people there. Heck, Oscar, I gave him one of my stickers. He's got it hanging up in his office. I get tagged all the time online because Mark took my sticker and put it on the trainer. So now, like, it's all over the country. Like, random people will tag me, like, "How'd you get your sticker on there?" I was like, "They did it. I didn't do it. I gave them the sticker, and Mark put it on there." I said, "That's just," and everybody laughs when they see it. But Frymaster is always just. It just seems like everyone that works there truly enjoys it, truly loves working there.
That's a fact because we go out in the plant all the time. I walk out there, and you won't see somebody frowning or going, just goofing off. They want to work and they want to do their thing, and we treat them really well.
Hmm.
We give them great benefits. They get great pay. They're down to a 4-day work week. So because we're just so busy, we got 3 shifts running, but they're all 4-day work weeks. So the fifth day, if they want to work, which we do want them, that's all overtime, and then they still have a weekend with their family.
That's cool.
And that's what they really wanted. So again, you mentioned Oscar a couple of times. I want to plug him a few times too. He is an amazing president.
Hmm.
Um, he talks to everybody. I
Uh
don't
huh.
care if you're the broom pusher I call myself the toilet bowl washer because I pick up all the, you know what,
Yeah.
and he stops and talks to everybody. What are we doing wrong? What can we
Yeah.
improve? What do you think? And excuse me, he takes that knowledge and that
Hmm.
information and goes back to the upper staff and goes, okay, well, I just heard we do this. Why? Where'd you hear
Hmm.
that? From the line. Well, that's people who are actually doing the work. And then he'll say, why, when the service guys go out in the field, they don't have what they need? That's me
Hmm.
saying something. And he goes, well, get what you need. Uh, Well, don't worry about the cost. Well, don't we have to run it by? No, we don't have any shareholders anymore. It's me. And it's a straight line from him to the owner of Ali Group, and who I
Nice.
met at Worldwide Convention, McDonald's.
Nice.
And he's very similar to Oscar.
Yeah.
Very humble guy, really nice. Couldn't picture him owning 157 companies, but yeah, it's
That's funny.
mind-boggling,
Uh,
and that's what makes it fun. And you don't mind going to work.
yeah, I was blown away because I met him doing a tour and some stuff when I was there, and then I asked Mark. I was like, "Hey, I want to go someplace nice to eat dinner," and we went to some place right over by Mark's house. And like, we walk in, and Mark's there, and then Oscar comes walking in. He comes up to the table, starts talking to me. And I was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh, that's the president of Frymaster." And she's like, "He just talked to you. Like, he's known you for years." I was like, "I just met him yesterday." I was like, "He's the nicest guy in the world, though." She's like, "Holy cow!" She's like, "That's wild." I was like, "He's just one of those guys, man. He doesn't care what his title is. He's going to talk to you. He wants to know how he can make your job better, how he can make things better for Frymaster and for the group as a whole." And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and that's the other part of it is he's pushing us to. He knows what we're up against in the service side. So you mentioned the intuition. We just launched that, and that's our completely new redesigned fryer. And the crazy part is the engineering department didn't start engineering it. They said, we're going to go to service and ask them what they wanted. And we gave them like 5 pages of what we
Mhm.
wanted. They used four.
I'm excited to see no more relay for the burger blowers.
Yeah, no more relay. Well, the thing is that relay really doesn't go that often anymore because we have a diode in there.
Yeah.
Um, so when it opens up and tries to arc out and the fan becomes a generator, it goes to ground.
Yeah.
So that relay really doesn't go that much.
Oh man, it just seems like when I get them, it's like it goes in spurts. It's like I'll get a bunch of them, and I won't get any for a long time. Then I'll just get like two or three here or there. And I carry one and a blower on my truck. I changed a couple. And my boss like, I was like, dude, I could quit ordering these. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I can fix this thing one time. And I'll be honest, my main customer for you guys is Taco Bell corporate stores. Like they don't want the Taco Bell guys don't want to touch those fryers. They're scared to death of them. So like I make a ton of money on them. I got my boys. My boys are tearing them apart now, doing creative with them, and it's like it just comes like in waves. I was like, hey, give me let me carry 4 igniters. Let me carry a couple relays. Let me carry a blender blower. Let me carry this, and this. I'm like, I'm out here. I'm fixing all these fryers like in an hour and a half, 2 hours max. And
Yep.
my boss is like, hey, that's first time fix. That's great. I'm like, yeah, I told you. Just give me a few parts, man. I'll sell them. I'll put them in. I'm not trying to carry everything in the world. And before you guys changed displays, I had an old display on me, that old style display, and I'd sell one every 2 weeks just because someone put their hand through it or they hit it with something and it cracked, and I just change one every 2 weeks. My boss is like,
Well,
man,
let me tell you the most exciting part on the intuition, and we just tested that actually today, because the inventory and stuff, but displays.
mm-hmm.
We had a display for Cracker Barrel, we had a display for Taco Bell, and we couldn't cross them, and
Yeah, that was so
they
wild.
and all different softwares online and blah blah blah. So what's cool is now we have what's called a service display. It's blank, and you say you put it in a Taco Bell. You got a 2 vat fryer. You put it in a slot two, even if slot one's gone, you move it, but put it in slot two, and just let it sit there, and it automatically will talk to one and say, "What are you?" "I'm a Taco Bell." "Okay.
Oh
Well,
boy.
what menu do you have in you?" "Oh, this is my menu." "Oh, how are we configured?" "Oh, here's my config file," and it'll have a little thing on the top of the corner and say, "Push me," and it'll download everything from that other controller into that controller. And in about 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes, it'll clone it, and now you only have to bring one controller.
That's wild. I love it. I love it. I've been harassing like you guys' social media team, the YouTube channel. I'm like, send me one of these fryers. I even said something to Oscar. I was like, let me have one of these fryers. Let me tear it apart. Let me make some videos from my perspective, the technician side. I said, let me make some content with it. I said, I can leave it to shop in Indy. I have full gas. I said, I want to see the new burners. I want to tear this thing apart, put it back together, and see what I can do with it. And it hasn't happened yet, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying.
Well, Oscar has brought it up to our attention, and he knows about you. So
I know.
when I get in, he'll be in next week. So maybe there's something I can look into, because we'd love to have that. Because when Manitowoc owned us, we lost a lot of personnel. We had a
Mm-hmm.
full videographing. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you saw it when the first time you
Yeah.
came around.
Yep.
A quarter of the office in Free Park was all video and photography, and we had 4 people doing our videos, doing our training, and then just before Ollie Group bought us, it, who did the videos?
Yeah.
Who did all the other stuff? Wayne, and that was it.
I just want to
Um,
tear it apart and play with it and get my hands on it and like show some of the stuff it's got because it's got a lot of cool features, the new burners, and I'm excited to see those. Excited to see you get a fryer that's popping because someone, heaven forbid, you lost a relay or a burner blower. They keep running and they blow the seals out of it. You're screwed. We
well,
all,
you won't do that on this one because
yeah,
one, it's got metal burners.
yeah,
2, it's got individual fans,
mm-hmm,
and if it can't work, it'll shut itself off before it does do that.
yep.
And then the other great part is, this goes back to training and technicians. How many technicians have a microamp meter? Not many.
Mm-hmm.
And so the engineer said, "Well, we're going to take this one for you, and now you can take
But
microamps from the controller.
so you can watch it on the screen.
You can
That's
watch it on
awesome.
the screen."
That
"Oh,
is
well,
awesome.
I don't have a manometer." "Okay, well, let's put the gas pressure reading on the screen too."
I didn't know you guys were doing the gas pressure. I knew you were doing the gas. I mean, I knew you were doing the micro amps. I didn't know you were doing the gas pressure too. So that's even cooler. So I was excited. I took a bunch of pictures, and then because when I came down last time, they had one in there, and then when I got to take pictures, like you can't post those. I was like, oh, you guys are killing me. I was like, I want to show this thing off so bad. It's not released yet because I mean it's been in the process for a few years. I know you guys, had some board stuff you guys were working through, trying to get everything, the way you guys wanted it. It's just like everything else production. You want it perfect before you put it out there. Frymaster's got that 80 years legacy behind them. So they want it, to be the best product they can put out there. And um, I haven't, there's none in my area yet. I've been waiting for one to come in because I was like, as soon as one comes in, that's going to be my baby. I don't care who else thinks they're going to work on it. It's going to be me. I'll make sure of it. But uh, I see a lot of cool stuff on that fryer. The smaller burner blowers, like Garland uses little DC motors, and I think it's gonna revolutionize what you guys are doing. Still, the 30-pound footprint. It's gonna be cool to see. It's gonna be fun to work on.
Oh, that's the whole point is we're trying to help the guys. And that's why we were shocked when the engineering group came back and said, oh, we took 4 pages of your recommendation. What? And the other part was, accessing 90% of the parts to the front and not taking an hour to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So now basically all the serviceable parts in the fryer can be done from the front and taken out in 10 to 15 minutes with regular tools. You don't
That's
need special
crazy.
tools, don't need anything crazy. Probes are probes are 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Temperature
I've
probes, ATO probes, AF probes, 15 minutes.
I've got guys. I had a guy that he just retired, but he had an ATO probe, and he was like he pulled out the whole control box at the front. Uh-oh. Did
Whoop.
he die? There you are. You're back. He pulled off the whole control box out the front. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? And so you get it out. I'm like, dude, the side comes off. That's like a 15-minute job. Like, I don't know what you just did, but you did not need to do all of that. I was like, an ATO probe's like a 15, 20-minute job. I was like, the side comes off, you can see it right there. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I was like, well, you didn't ask either.
Yep. And that's one of the things it's not just Frymaster. All the manufacturers should praise you and work with you because I've watched a lot of your videos and you do those little tricks
Mm-hmm.
and the techs need that. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't have those mentors that we used to have back at 15, 16, 18 years ago, where every service company had a half a dozen mentors and
Mm-hmm.
then a bunch of trainees.
Yeah.
And the mentors, those were the things, the tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like a basin wrench. I don't know how many
Yeah.
times I've said, "Yeah, use a basin wrench," and tech is like, What's that?" I'm like, "You don't know what a basin wrench is?" Um,
You use
I
it one
mean,
time, it's your best friend.
exactly. Or crow's foot, or
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to go buy top line stuff. You can go Harbor Freight and get them for quarter of the price.
Yeah, especially if you're only gonna use it a handful of times. Don't go out and buy a top of the line. Go buy, like you said, Harbor Freight. So Brent Hall, he's a friend of mine. He's in the Atlanta area. He owns a service company, but he wants to know if you're allowed to say which brands have approved that fryer already. He said Yum, McDonald's, Burger King, question mark. So I don't know where they're
I
going.
am. McDonald's approved it at Worldwide,
Nice.
which was last month. We're going to go into full shipping on the gas fryer August, well, in a couple of weeks, August 1st, we'll be shipping out to McDonald's. Burger King approved it, which is RBI, about a month ago. And basically, almost every uh, system now, instead of doing the filter quick, is going to be an intuition. Um, yeah, I can say this. Taco Bell is testing right now, and they should be, I would say, releasing that within next month. Um,
Did they get the
so
oils back? Did they get an OIB?
they got an
Finally,
OIB.
they learned. They learned.
Now that one I can't talk about. So
Okay, be quiet.
that's a touchy subject. So, but yes, they got a regular system, and that's the other beauty part is we're trying to make everything standardized. So
Mhm.
when you order parts, if it's in a Taco Bell or if it's in a McDonald's, it's going to be the same part instead of
Yeah.
okay, it's got to be different. So everything is going to kind of be, I won't say generic, but it's going to
Mhm.
be for general market, and then we can customize it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like Taco Bell, like when you guys got to Taco Bell, that kind of like rejuvenated my entire like Frymaster career because there's a ton of corporate stores around here, and their guys wouldn't touch them. And Man, every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend, dude, I'm out at Taco Bell's. I'm unclogging them or doing this, and this. And I'm like, man, we've had a lot of conversations back and forth about some stuff on them. But it really, I'm like, just to see the changes they made. And that's why I'm excited to see the new one now, is to see, what else they've done. And you talk about engineers. When you go to Frymaster, they have a time where an engineer comes to your class and he
Mhm.
sits down and you get to ask him questions. I'm like, do not waste your chance to get your information in front of us. If you have an idea, that may be the next great idea Frymaster puts in their fryer. And bring it up. No questions dumb, no ideas dumb, because dude, they listen and they're in there taking notes, and it's legit. They do care. Um, I will say that about Frymaster for sure.
Well, that's what we wanted to do, and it's also for our benefit. If we make it easier and streamline it,
Mm-hmm.
your bills that you are under warranty come down.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'll go back to technicians. Our technical ability and technicians right now, and it's no fault of their own, is not there because they didn't have that basic structure that we were talking about at the very beginning. You have to have that electrical background. You can't make it in this trade unless you know it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been doing this 40 plus years. I mean, think of the fryers you worked on when you first started. It was like three components, and every manufacturer used the same three components. Like you could take this thermostat and put it in this three fryers, this four fryers. This contactor was the same in every one of these ovens. And nowadays, I mean, things change from different model in the same product line. You're like, why did you guys change this? It doesn't make sense. Everything's proprietary. You went from hardly any wires to miles of wires and stuff. I mean, how many different voltages do you guys have on some of those boards? Like three or four different voltages. People are like, my boys are always asking me, like, oh, what voltage is here? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I was like, because there's like 3 volts DC, 5 volts DC, 12 volts, 24 volts. I'm like, what circuit are you working on? What are you trying to figure out? Like, because that's going to tell us what voltage we need to start checking for it.
Right, but the thing is, I mean, you don't have to call me for tech support that often.
Mm-hmm.
But 90% of the time when the tech calls me, he's like, "All right, I got my meter. I'm ready to go." I'm like, "Nah, put that away."
Yeah.
Um, and you're going to do more harm than good with a meter,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you don't have needle points.
Oh, yeah.
So, and what's crazy is people don't realize this. Back in the 80s, when the I mean, not MJ, H50s was released, the engineers actually made diagnostic LEDs on the interface board.
Yeah, told you what I was doing.
Yeah, and it would tell you if it's the left side doing it or the right side doing it. And everybody would like, wow, look at the Christmas tree. That looks cool. I don't know what that means. And then all you have to do is, it was funny because when I first started, I put that diagnostic tree in my metal book inside for Frymaster because we had a lot of McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would open up a metal book and watch the LEDs and say, oh, it's the left. No, it's the right. And everybody's like, how do you know? It's telling me. How'd you know that? I went to Frymaster school.
Yep.
Uh, and when we first started the company, they were looking for a service company in Boston. And, we pretended to be a lot bigger than we were. There was only three of us. And they said, well, who do you service? McDonald's. Really? Can you get some letters? I'm like, oh yeah. We went around to all the McDonald's and had them write us a letter, all the franchisees. Well, owner operators, sorry, you can't say that. And sent it to Frymaster and they said, when can you be down here? When's your next class? And that's when I went down and got certified. That was in what, 90? It was 90 something. And
Nice.
I found my picture in one of the filing cabinets when I got to Frymaster.
Dude, someone I don't know where they got it from, but they got my original picture from Frymaster, and I was like, "Holy smokes, I had hair!"
Yep, I did too. And actually, we were trying to sell Shree Park. God, this was about 6 years ago. And we had every class since the 80s with everybody
Mm-hmm.
graduating, everybody's individual picture and group since the 80s in that filing cabinet.
I think someone from Frymaster sent it over. Was it you that sent it over? Someone, I
It
think
was
someone
either
did
me or
from.
Mark.
I think it was Mark or one of the two sent it over. I was like, holy smokes! I think I even posted it. I was like, who is this kid? Uh, it brings
Yep.
back memories, man. It just but the sense of pride, we talked about that earlier. Sense of pride in those buildings over there is just it's unbelievable. It can't be beat. So my son has a question. He wants to know if you can wipe software clean from a filter quick and then upload fresh software to it. So are you talking about the UI, Corbin, or what are you talking about? He'll get back to me in a second. He does a lot of the Frymaster stuff now. The only thing I don't like is if you're got an old Taco Bell and you're putting a new style board in it, you got to move one over, you got to do all that stuff, and they make you scared to death to do it. Then they put like three different instructions in there. You're like, which one am I doing? Which one am I doing?
But that we can blame COVID and a whole bunch of other things because we went in with the first touchscreen, and it was a commitment, and they were going to supply us boards for the next 10 years, and by then we would go to our next evolution. So we didn't think about that. But then COVID hit, and then we couldn't get the parts. They couldn't get the parts, and they said, "Well, guess what?" Right after COVID, they said we can't make these boards anymore, these touchscreens. So we had to go to a new, different manufacturer, a different code base, different firmware,
Mhm.
and that meant okay, now we got to write different software, and they couldn't commit either. So then we
Mhm.
finally got somebody to commit, and that's the intuition. And what you're getting now is the same screen that goes on the intuition will work on a filter quick. But going back to his question, no, you can't wipe it out.
He's
Um,
he's on a warranty call at Wally's. Is that a what kind of?
he's at a Wally's.
Yeah, they built one in just north of Indy.
Is that the brand new one?
Oh yeah, it just opened up like last week or week before.
I
Is
was
that an
on the phone.
intuition?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm so
wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. No,
okay.
that's a 60. That's
Okay.
an FQ60. Um, and no,
He says I'll hear about tomorrow, so I guess I'll probably be going out there.
yeah,
So
you.
no, you can't wipe that. He says, Corbin. So we need to figure that out pretty fast. And
It
how?
depends on which. Now it depends on which controller it has. If it's a Jable controller, you could take the SD card out of the old one and put it in the new one, and it'll be fine. But then uh, the FIB is the problem child. If you get an FIB from somebody else, that's proprietary software on the filtering management, and that's something we changed with the intuition. Is um, it has general market software and everything, and then you just do the config file. And like I told you, you just have a blank controller and you put it in there, and it looks out and says, "Okay, what am I supposed to be?" Well, the rest of us are this. Okay, well, here you go. Here's all your information,
Yeah,
and it does it on its own.
I'll probably be texting you tomorrow afternoon. Then.
Well, if you are going out there, I need to be. I'm already knee deep in it,
Yeah, it's
because
my son that's been out there. So I don't know if someone else has been working on it before us because I don't know. They like to do that up here. Um, well, I'll get it figured out and see. What's it? I won't talk to Corbin. I'll talk to him tomorrow. Then I'll get a hold of you. We'll get it figured out, straightened out. So that's
absolutely.
funny. Yeah, that's a brand new store. I don't. I they've been talking about building it forever, and they kept putting these signs up, and I started harassing. I'm on social media, and I get bored, and I was like, what is this Wally? So I started like harassing them on social media, and they started replying back, and I was like, all of a sudden they started building it, and then I was in there like a month and a half ago. I walked around, was doing some site survey stuff for some convo therms. They had some Lincoln stuff. I mean, it's all well built line in there, and
Yep,
I was doing some site survey stuff, and then I didn't get to go back. Someone else got to go back and do it all. So sounds like Corbin's dealing with a little bit of a headache, but we'll get it squared away.
absolutely.
How many stores is there in Wally's? There's not a whole bunch of them yet, is there? Are they?
I don't know. It's not one of my accounts. They're just dragging me in because it brings me up to another topic: is bulk oil systems. Ugh.
Oh,
And probably if anybody's on listening to us, they probably just made that same noise too.
yeah.
Um,
The problem is, it's never the fryer's fault. I'll be nice. I'll be nice.
Yep, 99% of the time it is not. But that was
Yeah.
what, because that fryer up there had a problem with disposing.
Mm.
And but real quick, we put a simple bypass valve in all our fryers
Hmm.
because we can't regulate what the bulk oil guys do. They
Yeah,
think they
so
can run 200 feet of line and our pump's going to run that.
the
No,
deadheads it shuts down, so it bypasses, dumps back in.
that's correct. So we got a 20 psi check valve in there. So if we exceed 20 psi, all it does is recirculate into the filter pan. And the bulk oil guys will go, well, the fryer's broke. It won't pump into my system. Well, you use 3/8 line going to your tank. Um, it would have never been able to pump that. So our bypass is saving our pump and warranty dollars. So no, and I've gone to all of them. I'm the mediator, if you will,
Mhm.
because I, of all the bulk guys, and there's a bunch of them now.
That's why,
And
yeah.
well, the reason there's a bunch of them, the number one bulk oil company, you know what they do a year?
How much?
Just take a guess.
I don't want to know. It's probably $1 billion. Who knows?
14
Holy smokes! Yeah, because
billion.
they're selling them fresh oil. They're taking the old oil and reselling it to somebody else, to biodiesel or whatever they do with that crap now. So
Yeah, well, they do a lot more than that. They
yeah,
render everything, anything that's got oil. So even cow carcasses, hides, all that stuff. They render it all down to the oil, and then the second biggest thing that they do is gelatin, Jello, for the pill clump for the pills for pharmaceutical.
nice.
So you got to get those pill sleeves, and they use every piece of everything.
Huh.
Uh, and it's crazy their operation. It's amazing, but they're sometimes a pain in our side because their techs aren't techs. They're just truck drivers, most of them.
Yeah,
Um, and you get upset and you can't.
that's when I. So that's why he asked me if I knew who David Brosmer was today. I was like, no. And he
Oh
never said
yeah,
anything else. He never said anything else back to me. So I was like, okay. So that makes sense
Dave
now.
Dave Brosnan is one of our guys.
Yeah, that's what he asked me. He's like, you know David Brosmer at Frymaster? I was like, nope. And I didn't hear nothing else back from Corbin. So he must have figured it out. I guess not.
Mm.
um, no, I still use that little simple dumb drawing you guys have for the valves and everything for the bulk oil and the filtration stuff. That I use that, and I preach that for like an hour in every class I teach before I teach Frymaster. I'm like, because that drawing, like that's what made it click for me was that stupid little yellow drawing with the yellow in there. That's what clicked for me with the filtration stuff. So like once I understood it, I was like, oh, this stuff's easy. Once you understand what it's actually doing, the check valves and that kind of stuff, what throws me is like I'll have some units that have the check valve going back in from the pump in back into the drain, and I have some that don't. So the pump just deadheads and trips out. I'm like, what's going
Um,
on here? I'm like, why does it have this check valve? I'm like,
well, you shouldn't have that anymore.
it was the
We're
older
trying.
the older
Yeah,
Taco Bell ones, yeah.
yeah, we're putting check valves in everything now.
It just
So
saves your
our
pumps.
pump, yeah, so our pump won't deadhead. And the other bad thing is on the customer side, the customer's like, oh well, I'm going to get rid of this oil. Why do I need filter paper? I don't need filter paper. I could just pump it and pump the crumbs too and everything. Well, not only do you, luckily on us, we have a lot of pre-filters, but if you don't, then they're going to call you and say, okay, now I got to clean the pump, clean the lines. Oh, now that it's got a bulk oil system. Well, now you got to call them and they got to blow the lines out, and it just causes. And then all of a sudden, now we got, I don't know, $1,500 bill, and everybody's looking to get paid, and the customer's like, "That's not me. I didn't do it. It's got to be warranty." No, it's not warranty. Well, it's got to be the bulk oil guys. And bulk oil guys, no, it's not us. And I mean, we have one customer, I can't mention who that is, that loves to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just take the filter pan out, clean it, and just put it back together with no paper and say, "Well, I'm just disposing, so I don't need anything. I'll just pump it."
No, you can protect that pump, man. I love it when I get like pumps not running, not filtering. The first thing I do is I walk up and unscrew that pre-filter, and I'm like, do you see this? Like, that's not supposed to be full of crumbs, or it's broke off. I'm like, how do you guys break this? I'm like, this is like welded stainless steel. This is thick. How do you guys do this?
Well, also that can be your best friend
Oh
because
yeah,
it serves two purposes. So you just figured out the first one to save the pump. What's the second?
Telling the customer.
Almost. See, we did teach you something. Uh, no, it's a telltale. So
Yeah,
if they have to clean that weekly or daily, they're putting the paper together wrong, or they're not
100%.
using paper. Something's gone wrong in that pan.
Mhm,
But if they clean it monthly, then everything's good.
mhm.
Because it takes about a month for it to clean up. I mean, get filled with stuff. But if they're cleaning it daily and weekly, and this is for anybody that's listening, if you clean our pre-filter daily or weekly, something's gone wrong down the bottom, and you can go after the customer for that.
S I when I do a training, dude, I make sure I'm like, "Hey, I need everybody over here," and I show them how to put the Santa grit screen in, how to put the paper on a flat surface, wrap it around the ring, slide it in that way. I'm like, it has to look like this. These has to be folded around all four sides, or you will get crumbs in there, and you will cost yourself a bunch of money because I'm not going to have fun coming out trying to unclog this thing.
That is correct.
uh,
And that's all we need is just that little bit of common sense and training. I mean,
mm,
this what we're talking about right now. Anybody that's listening, if you pick up a couple of key words, trust me, you'll be a better person and a better tech for your customer. And that's all it's about. And this isn't rocket science.
no.
To be a good company or a good tech, you got to have conversation. You got to communicate with them. And if you don't know, don't be a typical guy and go, oh, and try to just do word salad. Say, well, I don't know. I'm going to call the factory, or I'm going to call somebody that knows, and I'll get back to you, and
Yeah.
figure it out.
That's I've never been scared to call someone. Well, okay, I used to be scared to call Jack, but that was a totally different story. That's because he got me one
Jack,
time.
Jack from Cleveland.
Oh yeah, he got me one time. Never again, dude. Never again. I made sure I had my ducks in a row. Jack made me a
Oh,
better tech, and he probably made a lot of people a better tech because you actually had to do some homework before you called him.
I called him all the time and said, Jack, here's the serial number. I need a part. Click. Call him back. Jack, it's Rich. I need a part number. Click. And then I started going to Cleveland for more training, and I would go to his desk and I said, Jack, it's Rich. I need a part number. And he would be, we used to call him Angry Jack. And but
Dude.
if you didn't call him for a part number and you were stuck, he knew his stuff.
As long as you had the information, though, like don't call him like, I've never worked on this. Like,
Yeah, no, 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 no,
they
don't
ask
do
you
that.
gas pressure and you say good, you're in trouble. Like that is not the answer he wanted to hear.
No, he's hanging up.
Yeah, dude. I there was days I'd call, and luckily I started when there were cell phones, and there's days I'd call, and like you'd be like Jack, and I just hang up. I'm like, nope, I'm not dealing with this. I'll wait another half hour. I'll get somebody else. I am not calling back. I call back, he answers again. I just hang up. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this guy. I'll figure it out before I have to deal with this guy. It made me a better tech. It made me understand that hey, you need to do a little bit of work before you call these guys.
Yeah, that's funny you just brought up that, because when I first started, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah,
So if we had to call the factory, we had to use the customer's phone or go to a payphone, and we had calling cards we used to give our techs.
yeah,
And call the 800 number. Don't use these cards because they got expensive. And I remember trying to find I mean, not a cell phone, a payphone near wherever store we were at, and then writing everything down, and then hopefully got everything. Go back to the store. Oh crap! I got to call them again, and then run back.
oh yeah,
Um, yeah, well, I completely forgot about that when I started this. That we didn't have them.
yeah. It's that's what I'm saying. Been a wild change. I mean, it's been a lot of good change, and the equipment's changed so much over the years, and it's been a fun journey for 20 years for me. You got 40 plus years, and it's probably cool to see the changes you've seen in that time. And I appreciate everything you've done for me over the years. You've done some stuff for me personally that's changed my life, and I won't get into that now. But you you've always been willing to help me out, and it's a two-way street. If I need help, you've helped me out. If you need help, you're like, hey, Pat, can you go look at this? Heck, I've driven to Kentucky and stood and stared at a Chick-fil-A food truck for 4 hours one day for you. I mean, hey, you need me? I'll help you out. You help me out. So that's just the way this industry works. There's a lot of good people here. There's a lot of good people willing to help you out. You just got to take the time to get to know them, and And make sure you try before you call them. That's all people ask. Just try a little bit.
Yep, and I always pay my bills.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
key.
that's the
You
key.
don't
Yeah,
you don't help somebody for an hour and say, "Oh, I'm only going to pay you a half hour." If you legitimately worked with them for an hour, you got to pay it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny. Well, anything else you want to talk about? Because we're coming up on an hour. I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you coming on. I've talked to you about this for a couple of years, and I was like, finally, I just like, let's make it serious. Let's get you on here. Let's talk about it. Because, I mean, you've done a lot of cool stuff over the years. You've done a lot of cool stuff for a lot of people in the industry. Besides starting your own company, building that, moving to Shreveport, doing everything you've done at Frymaster because you've been there for years now. You've taught, you've done this. Now you travel around to bail guys out, or if you got a trouble customer or something, you go out there and make sure that's taken care of. And it's always funny. I always wait for you to come to my area. You never come to my area, so I must be fixing stuff too good or something. I
I
don't
was going to
know.
say there's a reason why I don't come to that area because you're there. And I had the same thing happen in Miami. I would never go to Miami, but I lost my best tech down in Miami several years ago. He started his own company and doesn't work for one of ours, and I end up going to Miami a lot. And I finally broke down and went down there, handpicked a tech, and spent a couple of days with him. And now he's my future Pat down there, if you will. But I have somebody in probably all across the country like that. And again, you've done a lot for this industry. People don't understand what you're doing with all this video. You're bringing the younger minds to it
Mhm.
because this is what all the younger guys are going. Forget calling the office. Forget calling this. Forget a manual. I'm going to YouTube, or
Mhm.
I know a streaming video that I seen. I'm going to go pull that up, and that's the way everybody's going at it. And we're trying to do the same thing, but we're still trying to staff up. I
Mhm.
think in the next 5 years, maybe, just probably when I retire, and I'm going to try to retire in 7. That's when we're going to have all the videos and everything to the level I would expect it to
Yeah.
be.
Well, if I could handle the heat, humidity, and mosquitoes the size of small dogs, I'd move to Shreveport. But I'm not. I'm not fighting those mosquitoes and those ants.
It's not the mosquitoes, it's the gators,
The
you know, the
guy.
alligators and everything else out in the woods that can eat you. But
Uh,
it's a good life down there.
yeah, I'm always jealous of your boat, and on the lake and all that stuff. I'm like, I gotta come down here and hang out with Rich. I don't want to come down here and try to train or do anything for Frymaster. I just want to come out and hang out with Rich for the week on the boat because I imagine that's a blast down there. It's a pretty cool lake, and I always see you out there working. It seems like you're doing more on the boathouse than you do anything else, though.
Yeah, I do. And well, the nice thing is boating season's almost 12 months too. I
Yeah,
think there's 1 month that's too cold. We just picked up 2 Sea-Doos. So my wife and I both have Sea-Doos now, and I think I'm 20 at 62, and we're buzzing around the lake with the Sea-Doos too. But you got to have fun. I mean,
yeah,
don't take it so serious and just have fun.
yep, yep.
But
Well,
I do need to go because I
you're
have a
good.
tech been calling me.
You're good. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate Frymaster, Oscar, Mark, everybody over there, Brad, the team, what they're doing. If you guys need anything from me, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always in Frymaster's corner, Garland's corner, Delphi's corner, Cleveland's Common Terms. They've always treated me well, and I always try to give back to them. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a good evening too.
Yep. If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.